Consultancy group Deloitte says renewable energy is becoming cheaper on the continent. Now that means more affordable energy to serve Africa's developments.
Deloitte argues the cost of renewable energy technologies has come down considerably over the years, making them more attractive for investment compared to traditional large-scale power plants like South Africa's Medupi.
The Medupi coal-fired power station, with a capacity of 4,788 megawatts, has been delayed in coming on stream by some 4 years. This has resulted in the power monopoly Eskom having to ration power supply through a process of load shedding, causing untold inconvenience and measurable economic growth impacts. But South Africa is more fortunate than other African countries, having a current electricity supply capacity of 40,000 megawatts. According to the World Bank, Sub-Saharan Africa, which consists of 48 countries including South Africa, with a combined population of 800 million, produces the same amount of electricity as Spain, with its population of around 47 million. With large-scale projects like Medupi resulting in huge unaffordable cost overruns and renewable energy now seen as a cheaper, more adaptable way of producing electricity, there's a keen interest among investors to get in on the act.
The consequences of this are that you're going to find, particularly for countries, or for the continent rather, more adoption of renewable technologies. We have an abundance of those kinds of resources at the moment. And I guess the key thing is around grid connectivity for those projects. Apart from that, the modularization of these types of technologies allow for off-grid types of projects to be created. So you can follow the Indian example where there's a lot of off-grid rural electrification going on. You can have community ownership of renewables projects within communities and so on.
From an investor's perspective, the risk profile of such projects is lessened by their smaller scale and the fact that their turnaround times are quicker. ABB, which is heavily involved in building infrastructure in the electricity sector, says African governments are acutely aware of the need to resolve the issue of power scarcity on the continent. But depending on the policy environment, some jurisdictions are more open to private sector investment than others. But there's confidence that where the conditions are conducive, resources are available to help realize nations' power needs.
Access to funding is there. The World Bank has got a project that they are funding in South Sudan, just to give you an example. So, financing is rolling in slowly but surely, but those funders are getting into the continent because they do realize there's a need. So yeah, from one country to the other, it cannot happen at the same time, in the same scale, but it is happening. I don't think we'll be sitting here 20 years, 10 years into the future and still talking about lack of funding.
Deloitte says that as the renewable energy sector grows across the continent, this should result in greater job creation and the nurturing of higher-level engineering and other technical skills, adding that more technical learning centres need to be established. And it argues that due to greater competition created by independent power producers, traditional state-owned power monopolies will be forced to become more efficient as governments move away from subsidising them. Nompumelelo Siziba, SABC News, Johannesburg.